This episode is sponsored by Anchor. Have you ever heard of Anchor by Spotify? It is the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need in one place. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. It's what you need to make a podcast in one place, and best of all, it is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Now back to the show. Boys in the Burgh, hosted by Chris, JJ, and Andrew Speranza. Welcome to Boys in the Burgh, the podcast all about Pittsburgh and pickles.
Hey!
Yeah!
Still no pickles, SpongeBob.
That was a good one. That was good.
That was the one I created.
So, today's episode is obviously going to be about Picklesburgh, but to help me talk about Picklesburgh, I have one of the co-hosts, JJ Speranza.
Hello, everybody.
And Andy could not make it today, which is no big problem at all because we have just as great as a replacement for him for today. Probably the one person that can fill his shoes, the original girl in the Burgh, my wife, puppy mom, Carissa Speranza.
What an introduction for being called a replacement.
She's the queen of the boys.
Hello.
Where's your crown, lady?
Oh, it's downstairs. If you think I don't have one, you're...
Oh, I know you have one.
Which one?
So we're very excited to talk about Picklesburgh, just a very traditional thing that happens in Pittsburgh all the time. I know, JJ, you'll probably have some facts of when this started and all that fun stuff because I just don't know the history behind this and like why it started. Why do we have an obsession with pickles?
You know what, Carissa, you go ahead first because I'm gonna just jump right in. If you want to say something, go right ahead.
I have so many thoughts, and when we left, I had so many thoughts that weren't coming out coherently, but I've had time to process. I think Pittsburgh is a lovely city. Let me start off by saying that. Why do they get so obsessed with random shit? It doesn't make sense. And they give you something and then they just go nuts with it. Like pickles. Why?
Well, here's the funny thing about that, Carissa. They were voted the #1 best food festival by a couple magazines with the Pickle Festival. So
Like,
they pick it up and they run with it and then get awards for it.
Like, you can't do anything normal here. You try to do one thing and it just becomes this crazy obsession, and then people kill each other over it. And then they get so... It's the most insanely... It's beyond pride. I don't know. I don't have the word for it, but it's beyond pride. It's almost like lunatic. Like, it's like... I don't know. But it's scary how quickly that they get obsessed with things.
Can I throw an example out there of something that at Pittsburgh we all get really obsessed over? Something that's so tiny that's probably only there for a little bit, and then people become crazy about it. That is known as the big yellow ducky that's in the river.
That's fair. That's a rubber duck. That's adorable. It's giant. Why is it in the river? I get why people follow that.
I like that, and I also think that Fish Fridays during Lent, like, how many Catholics are there really in Pittsburgh? And yet there are, like, lines out the frickin' door to get fish fries.
I don't know. I assume there's a lot of Catholics in Pittsburgh, and it's probably why, after our last episode talking about what we talked about, probably lost a lot of people from that.
If you didn't hear it, Carissa, we got a little interested in a couple things.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, so I did let you guys know that about the #1 Pittsburgh thing. Do you guys know whenever the pickles first started becoming a thing?
No? Like the food?
Mm-hmm.
Or in Pittsburgh?
No, the thing in Pittsburgh, Picklesburgh started like 4 years ago. I don't know why. I think Heinz started doing pickles, and they were like, "Oh, let's make a festival of it," because just like you said, they're weird and amazing in every way possible. But do you know when
Pickles
the
come. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
We don't talk about Heinz.
no now it's Abercrombie.
Acrisure Stadium, JJ. Come on, it has a nice ring to it.
It sounds like the next strand of COVID. So the first pickles they started making them in the Mesopotamian era 4,000 years ago.
Dang.
Yep. And Christopher Columbus was the first person to bring it to America, and that's when pickles became a thing in America. But did you know that Queen Cleopatra in 50 BC was like, "Oh yeah, I'm beautiful because of my pickles in my diet."
Oh my.
Wow.
They come from. I don't know if this is true. Don't blame me if I sound stupid, but don't they come from like cucumbers? Like.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's really all pickles are pickled cucumbers.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
there's
you're the nutritionist.
Yeah.
You're the nutritionist. Tell us.
Dietitian. Yeah, but it goes back 4,000 years. It's I think it's really just onion, garlic, dill, vinegar, and then cucumber, and they just let it ferment for a little bit, and you got a pickle.
Huh. Interesting.
I feel like that's something that was probably invented in like the 50s. You know, they're just like, see, we can do this, see? But I didn't know it was like something that was way back in the days, like in the, whatever you said, in Cleopatra. She's like walking like an Egyptian and eating a pickle in her mouth and saying, "I'm beautiful."
I just never know how they come up with those things. Like, who thinks to put that combo together? How does that
peanut butter
happen?
and jelly.
Well, beyond that, but like when it gets into like the science of like all those ingredients make a whole new food,
Yeah,
how does one come up with that?
it's crazy, man. Like, it's hard to say. Like, people just may be like, "Well, this is used for medicinal reasons, and I really like this vegetable. So what if we put them together and see what happens?" And just like,
Yeah,
watch it ferment.
crazy.
But this won't be surprising because we just kind of talked about this. In the 1650s, in Brooklyn, New York, is where pickles really started to become a thing because dill, which is like a plant, grew so readily out in that part of town, in that part of the country. So that's where pickles really came to be, and that's why there's a lot of sandwich shops out in Brooklyn that have pickles on their sandwiches, because it's like in the 1650s it started becoming a thing in New York.
I'm walking here.
We don't ever say that. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
And at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, Pickle King H.J. Heinz dispatched a few local boys to tempt fairgoers with a free gift if they visited Heinz' out-of-the-way booth and tasted his wares. And there was pickle pins, and that's where they had pickles.
Can I unpack a couple things in that sentence?
Yeah.
He's the pickle king.
Yep.
And what does it mean, tasting his wares? That sounds so uncomfortable.
I mean, like, you think about the 1800s, they weren't like, "Hey, come try my pickles." They were like, "Theatric. Come try my fairs."
Okay, this is exactly what I thought. The Chicago-style hot dog actually does have a pickle in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where I've been to a Portillo's before, so yeah, yeah. However, I will say the peppers that they put on the hot dog, I sent you a picture of it before. You couldn't even see the hot dog.
I know. Like, there is no hot dog. It's just buried in toppings.
And the peppers are very hot on it, so that is one thing that is very, very hard about eating it. But, you know, the Chicago people supposedly putting a ketchup on a hot dog is a sin, which I don't understand.
Because every city does it different. Like, you know, Cincinnati puts chili on their pasta. Like, come on.
Hey, don't make fun of that.
It's
I will visit another Skyline Chili, and I will have their delicious chili on top of spaghetti with a mountain of cheddar cheese. That is cold.
And onions.
And
So gross.
onions. Oh my god, it's so good.
Disgusting.
It's
Here.
so great.
I know our viewers can't see this, but I wanted to show you guys this. This is one of the first pictures ever taken of the Heinz plant in Pittsburgh. And it not really the plant itself, but it's a bunch of workers getting ready to make pickles. I don't know if you guys can
Let
see
me
that or not,
see.
but that's
Oh,
one of the
it's cool.
first
yeah.
advertisements.
Whoa.
Cool.
So pickles go back really, really far, which is really cool.
So what it looks like, for the people who are listening, it looks like it looks like all women getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner, but they're just working on putting pickles in jars. That's all it looks like.
For real, it's amazing. And I won't go in because there's a lot more history with pickles, but that's like the base of why it's so big. And we talked about Pittsburgh doing the Picklesburgh thing. Sounds like it's been around forever in Pittsburgh, so they just wanted to start celebrating it. Any questions for me before I ask you two about how your journey went in Picklesburgh?
I got something. When was the first Picklesburgh?
That was my question.
When was the first pickle? What?
Picklesburgh, the event.
Oh, 4 years ago. So, oh wait a minute. Did they have one in 2020? I don't know if they had one in 2020, but they've had 4 so far.
No, believe me.
Judging by what I saw, I hope to God they did not.
2015.
Jesus Christ.
That place is a COVID hotspot, which we'll discuss in a second. But I will say, the one fact I do know is that it did start on Clemente Bridge. And obviously, they didn't do it on Clemente Bridge this year because I walked past Clemente Bridge and it is torn apart.
Really?
So they, yeah. So they did it on the 9th Street Bridge, which is also known as something else. I forget what the name is. But I can look that up. And it was on the 10th Street bypass. For people who don't know, it's just a road that goes underneath the bridge. And I think that road actually takes you to the Parkway because it's next to David L. Lawrence Convention Center. Right?
Yeah, you're right. I was following you along with my eyes, like, okay, yeah, you go here, go here. Yep, you're right.
JJ, I'm great with directions.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
All right, so that was my question.
That was my question.
Yep, 2015 was the first one.
All right. I have my whole day laid out from the 2022 Picklesburgh. I have brought my wife with me, the first girl in the Burgh, my wife, and puppy mom. And
breaking history over here, guys.
A 2-timer, by the way, shall I mention? She's a 2-timer now. Here to fill in the blanks for anything I miss. But JJ, you first. Do you have any questions for us about this year's Picklesburgh?
For the pickle gallery?
Did you guys have a pickle while you were there?
I'll answer that. No.
Okay. I was just curious about that. Because you sent me a picture from your food from the casino, and I was like, oh my God, it looks amazing. And you're like, yeah, it's from the casino. I was like, oh. Oh.
That was the correct response. Oh no.
The next question was going to be what happened, but then Chris was like, let me fill you in. And I went, oh.
Strap in, folks.
So here we go. Let's start with my favorite thing to talk about Pittsburgh, and that is parking.
I was going to say you have to start with us trying to find a place to park.
We go around 3 o'clock, so it's definitely peak time for people to go out and do stuff. I drive right to the North Shore because I didn't want to park downtown. And I was going to park in that parking garage between Heinz Field and PNC Park, the one I like. But that walk would have been way too far. So I just kept driving up towards the bridge until I was just like, okay, this is a good place. And because it was peak time, we couldn't find parking anywhere. Like, we had the money, we were ready to spend $10, and all the parking lots were closed. The only parking lot that was open was the Andy Warhol Museum parking lot, and there's a sign out there that said only museum patrons can park here. And I was like, screw it, it's Picklesburgh, like it's busy. And I go over, and this security guard comes over to us, and he goes, "You here for the museum?" And I act like I don't hear him at first, so I didn't answer him. And then he asked again, and I was like, "No." And he's like, "You gotta leave."
No speak English.
And so I was just like, "All right, where do you suggest me parking?" And he goes, "You turn out of here and you go right to the parking garage across the street."
Oh my god.
This was not a happy fella. And I'm pretty sure what happened was when you said no, he was like, "Well, you go up there, you make a left, see the blue car, that's the exit." It was way more aggressive.
He was not having a good time because Picklesburgh was literally right there, and like people want to go to the Andy Warhol Museum. Supposedly, the parking lot was empty. First of all,
Yeah, it was a massive parking lot, and it was completely empty.
Like, what the fuck? Like, I got $10.
Like, hey, let's go ahead and charge like $50 for people to park just to like get some money, you know?
Yeah, like take my money, look the other way, and just let me just let me walk over. So that was the parking situation. But all in all, that parking garage was very convenient. It was called the North Shore Garage.
It was a nice garage. I mean, as far as a parking garage goes.
Is that where you park for like Steeler games and Pirate games?
Actually, no. That's where I originally wanted to park. I said that was too far of a walk.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yes. So JJ, I'll stop there. Any questions?
So your day started by getting told off by a security guard that was disgruntled.
Yes, a very disgruntled.
He's probably had to tell like 15 other people to move.
Yep. 100%. And just like he's just like, "Oh, it's over there. You turn out of there and you go into the parking garage across the street." I'm just like, "Oh my god, take it easy."
We could have just parked, like told him, "Yeah, we're here for the museum," and then walk towards the museum and then like just walk away.
He wouldn't have caught us.
No, he wouldn't have. There's no way to check.
Was he Mr. Veal Parmesan, if you catch my drift?
Yeah, we'll say yes. He was a unique gentleman. All right. So now we get to finally getting into Picklesburgh.
A unique gentleman. That was funny. Sorry. Go ahead.
Now, so as we're walking towards the bridge, I forgot about this. I didn't make notes of this. We're walking towards the bridge from the North Shore Garage, and it's about a block or two. And I forgot to mention this, but all of a sudden we're walking, and the PNC Park pierogies are just walking past us.
Yeah. They're just walking down the street.
Were they like, we were kicked out because we're not pickles?
Yeah. We're not allowed.
They each had their own little staff member with them.
Oh my god.
Oh, it was so funny.
Yeah, so we walk past the little pierogi people. Sorry, I can't get over what you said in the beginning where it's just like, still no pickles.
You have to make that joke somewhere in there. Come on now.
That brought me back. All right, so we're walking towards the bridge, and surprisingly not too many crazy aggressive vendors out there, which I was very happy with. You probably the downtown side there were crazy vendors, but not on the North Shore side. So what happens is, to get into the bridge, there's no security or anything, but as you're walking onto the bridge, they give you, I think literally like my desk is sitting at a corner right now. They give you like that much of a corner for people to enter onto the bridge.
Yeah, it's like blocked off by barricades with this tiny little opening where people can come through.
Any questions, JJ?
Meaning we're standing in a herd waiting to go in. Like we had to like wait in a line to go into Picklesburgh. And this open, it was crazy.
Was
this
like, on the bridge or before the bridge?
Before the bridge.
Trying to get onto the bridge.
There was another line before the video you took?
Yes.
Oh my god. Go on.
Oh my god.
Okay. So what happens is we finally go into the little cubby, a little opening they give us, and we go on there. First thing I see is a stand that says grilled cheese with pickles in them. And I've seen this stand before. It was in the Greensburg night market. So shout out to Greensburg. And so I saw
G-Town.
that. Yeah, G Town. And there must have been, in my opinion, I didn't really see many pickle themed things. Yes, there was like 4 billion people on one bridge, but like I was like trying to look at the booth to try and get like the idea in my head, but it was just like I saw the same drink stand like 5 different occasions that said like get your pickle sangrias, like something like that. It popped up a couple of times, and I'm just like okay, and so yeah, that was the start. I'll let Carissa take over of why there was a little section opened next to the bridge.
So when you're crossing the bridge, there's the part where the cars would normally drive on, and then on either side there's like barricades and then like a walking path, like a sidewalk.
Yeah, to keep the pedestrians and the cars separated from each other.
Yes,
so
like a
bad
wall.
things don't happen.
So bad things don't happen. They build this barricade so bad things don't happen.
But I'll pause for a second. Do you know what we're talking about, JJ? Like,
Oh, I do.
yeah,
like that yellow metal thing with all the dots on it.
Yeah.
Here's a good example where a saxophone man stands on.
Oh, I know. Yeah, isn't that where people put like their like locks, like they're in Paris or something?
No, that's like towards the water. Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So we're on the inside. We're on the street, like the road, and it doesn't seem like it would be narrow, but after you have all the pavilions and all the tents, and then there are 50 line of people for each of the stands, there's no room left to walk, and then there's the barricade, and then the sidewalk. I swear, and there were only like maybe 4 or 5, maybe only 4 pickle related things on the bridge. There was the grilled cheese, and then there was pickle beer and sangria.
What about the guy that was like
a pretzel place?
What about the guy that was like free pickle pins?
Oh yeah, I already had my pickle pin. I was prepared.
He's like throwing them just like at children's eyes with it open. Like free pickle pin.
Oh wait, let me back up. So I forgot a step. So there is a gap in between. There was we were standing on the street, and then they put a chain. They put like a white chain all the way across right in front of the barricade. So there was like us, this chain, like 2 feet of space, the barricade, and then the sidewalk. So I forgot that's a very important step.
Yes.
Was this chain, because that's where the security was, which was like 18-year-olds in neon t-shirts.
Yes, and also I have to explain this because the guy said this. The reason why they have a little section open right there is because it's so jam-packed and busy that like that spot is for like vendors or EMTs to go through. So like, you know,
for safety reasons, so people can get through if they need to, if there's like an emergency.
Makes sense.
So that's what that's there for. So let's paint the picture one more time. There are booths, people, a chain, about 2 feet, the
yellow metal barricade,
and then the sidewalk for walking. Are we on the same page?
I think we're on the same page. Yeah.
All right. So what happened was you're not allowed to walk in that 2-foot space because that's for EMTs and vendors. Guess what else you're not allowed to do? Jump over the yellow barricade
to get into the sidewalk.
Oh, really?
And we will lead up to this. We were just walking, looking at everything. And you know, when you first get to a festival, you're like, well, let me look at everything first. And then like, we'll go back to whatever thing that we like or whatever.
Yeah.
We hit like a traffic jam of people, and it was about
like halfway through the bridge.
Halfway through the bridge. And it had to have been about 20 minutes of just standing there and waiting. Go ahead. You go,
Okay,
Carissa.
I was gonna say you're painting the picture, but not really.
This
It
is why
is-
you're here.
I know. So we get about halfway through the bridge, and like Chris said, we're like, let's look at everything before we make a decision on what we want, because to me it all sounds disgusting. But there
Why were
was
you
no
there?
because I'm married to this thing.
Content.
Because he likes to turn our misery into content.
That is the best thing I've ever heard.
If he can film it.
You having a great time? No, this sucks. Good. We'll have to record later today.
So there is no, and because there's only like 4 booths, you couldn't stand in line for anything because there was about 50 people in every single line, and there was no telling where the lines end and where the crowd began. And we got about halfway through, and it just stopped. But the amount of people, I can't even, hundreds.
Not even hundreds. It has to have been thousands.
Oh, but I'm talking about in this condensed area. It was disgusting.
Oh my
You were
good
so
lord. Chris, just
I'll
show
put
me a
the
you
picture
were
of the
so
bridge.
stuffed.
I'll put the pictures on social media too. But yeah, it was crazy.
Please do
You
that.
were so stuffed. It was like, all I can think of is, have any of you seen Enchanted?
I obviously have, yes.
She goes
I
down
have
into
seen
the
the first 10 minutes.
Okay. That might be enough. So she goes down, she gets into New York for the first time, and she goes down in the subway, and she's in this giant dress, but it's so crowded in the subway, the crowd carries her back up the stairs. She's not even on her feet anymore, but there's so many people all moving the same direction, it just whisks her back away. That's what it was like. You were so stuffed with people. You were shoulder to shoulder. There was literally no room. People were running over my feet with their strollers. It was obscene. It was disgusting how many people were there.
And also to give you the idea, JJ, the picture I took of you, the booth that's in it is just for like roasted almonds.
Wait a second. So once you got across, I know that I'm jumping ahead here, but I always thought Picklesburgh was on the bridge. Is it on the other side of the bridge?
Well, you are jumping ahead. Let's just we'll back.
Did you guys get that far?
we haven't got out yet. Well, here's what happened. The security, I took a video of it, and you could hear him shouting. The security, his job was to be like, "Hey, I know it's hot outside, but you just got to stay in this. It's eventually going to start moving, and you'll get through it." And people kept jumping over the yellow barricade, and he's like, "Yo, man, you gotta stop it!
He
Stop
was
it!
so
Hey,
funny.
you get back over there! You get back over there! No, you over there! Yo, I got my $18. I got my $18. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what happens." Like,
He was
Oh
like,
my
just
God,
don't do
what?
it right in front of me. I don't understand why y'all stare at me and do it right in front of me. You know you're not supposed to do it. Y'all are watching everyone else do it, and you just think you could just jump. It was ridiculous. He was a foot away from us, screaming at everyone the entire time. It was ridiculous, and people were being such assholes. Like, people were being horrible. So, like I said again, this was a complete standstill. You were locked in this spot. There was no turning around and going back the other way. You were stuck here. There was nowhere to go, and it was like 90 degrees.
no, it wasn't that bad. It was like 70 actually.
Well, it felt like 90 in that crowd.
So I think my favorite person who jumped the barricade, not the baby. Carissa will talk about the baby, but
Like the rapper Da Baby?
not the baby.
Oh, okay.
There was a couple, like, we're like packed in with people, and all of a sudden I see people go underneath the chain to jump over the barricade, and I'm like, okay, whatever, they're about to jump over. And it's a couple, and they both had fucking bikes.
Oh my god, yeah!
What?
People were literally like tossing their bikes over top of this to hop out. It was insane. I was waiting for someone that like got here by canoe and toss their canoe over and just row away.
and the security guard's just like, the fuck? You got bikes?
was my favorite, and I felt so bad for him, but he was my favorite.
Oh my god.
Okay, now you talk about the baby.
Okay, so we're standing here for like 15 minutes, and he's just screaming. People are pissed. There's a whole vibe happening. It's a whole vibe. A very, very scary energy. It's not a chill, like, all right, we'll just wait and then we'll get. No, this was an angry mob that was forming. It
Oh,
was
Lord.
very scary. And the next thing I hear is, oh my god, I don't know, some sort of screaming, like, what do you think you're doing? Put the baby down. Please don't hurt that child. And then I turn around. Some dad with his baby in the stroller launched the entire stroller up and over the barricade with the child in it. And the guy was just so defeated. He's like, please don't hurt that baby. This is not that serious. Please don't hurt the baby. Please put the baby down.
Dude,
Y'all don't. No one cares about their
hell?
kids anymore. Just like no one cares about their kids anymore. I'm done. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. And then we met the only chill guy in the entire crowd came up to me and just started talking to me. It was like, had his like disgusting pickle beer, and he was just like, forget what he was saying. He was like talking in riddles. Like,
No, he's basically just like, people can't wait 15 minutes. Oh, I grew up on a farm. I had to wait forever. Like, what the fuck?
it like just came out of nowhere, and I was like, ugh. He was the only one that had like a rational mindset of like, it's 15 minutes. If you can't wait for this, like, life's gonna be real disappointing to you.
This is
Okay,
so
go ahead.
crazy.
Yeah.
It gets worse. It gets so much. Well, it almost got a lot worse. So we exit. We finally, we found out the reason it was at a standstill was because the bridge was at max capacity of people. They weren't letting anyone on, and they were only letting like 20 people out at a time because they had to control who was coming in and who was coming out, and it was at max capacity. So that's why it was like you were in lockdown. So we finally get to exit, and Chris is just like, go to the left, go to the left, go to the left. I go to the left just to breathe for a second.
Oh, first of all, there's a dog park right across the bridge.
Oh yeah, there's a dog
Really?
park.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There were only like 3 dogs in it, but it looked like they were having a good time.
They're probably watching all the humans like, dumbasses.
Idiots.
But we pull off in this little grassy area near the dog park, and we look over the railing to like the street below, to like where the water is.
I do have to
like
say that was nice that they kept track of the capacity on the bridge, knowing the fact the bridge was over top of more people.
Oh my god, yeah. And so Chris is like, let's go down there. It doesn't look busy. And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll go chill out by the water. It doesn't look busy at all. We get down to the bottom, and it is so much worse. We saw this tiny little, like, maybe 10-foot area where there weren't that many people. Just on the other side of it, it was just as packed as the bridge was.
Oh,
and this
God.
psychopath wanted to go back in because he didn't get his pickle. He's like, I need to get something with pickle. We're in Picklesburgh. I'm like, I'm not going back in there, Chris. I'm not going to do it. I can't go back in there. I was like losing my mind. I was shaking. Well, by the time we got off of that bridge, I was literally shaking. I'm like, I was so scared. I'm like, if anyone just opens fire right now, we are all dead. It was a very scary vibe. I'm not being dramatic. The analogy I had that I thought of when I was in the bathroom earlier was like, I work at the courthouse filled with criminals and prisoners coming in and out, feet away from me, losing their mind. I was more scared at Picklesburgh than I am any day I go to work.
Oh my god.
It was so scary.
This sounds like not a great time at all.
No, and it took him forever to agree to not go back in there. And I said, go. I will stay right here. You can leave me to die out here. You go back in there. I will see you on the other side, maybe. I will go take Eliza and run away. I'm not going back in there. And I stood my ground, and I went and sat and found a rock by the water. It just sat down. I'm like, you have to tell him no. He won't stop. Once he has something in his head, he won't stop.
It's for content.
That's a boys thing.
That is a boys thing. That's why you're just a girl in the Burgh.
Because you have rational thinking.
Oh man, so we'll stop there for a second. Any questions, JJ?
Oh my god! So did you go back in, Chris?
I did not. I did not. Because it's like that. Go ahead. What?
I don't know.
What were you gonna say?
I had no plan there.
Okay,
Are you
it's
gonna
like
do that whip emoji, like?
no, it is like that. It is like that husband instinct. You know what I mean? That's just like just like if she's just like, oh, you go do it on your own. As like a husband, like you're just like, well, I want my wife to come with me too, but in this case, Carissa was just like, it was a hard stance of like no, and then we just started trying to figure out places to eat in Pittsburgh that had pickles. We were gonna walk to the Yard. Apparently, the Yard is in downtown Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
I
and
know.
on Sundays they have all you can drink mimosas
Ooh,
for brunch.
But
Oof.
we realized we'd be farther away from our car, so that's when we decided to just walk. So we didn't walk back on the Picklesburgh Bridge. We went the next bridge over and then started walking over. And it was just like looking at like The Walking Dead as they're like, leaving like their base for like the 9th time or something, just seeing it get eaten by zombies. That's what it looked like, except in pickle version. And I will say this: if you guys want the Picklesburgh experience without all the people, just go to the Greensburg Night Market. It's literally just the same thing with less people, and it's a lot more relaxing. So that is my little bow on Picklesburgh, but I'm not done with where we went afterwards.
I have one more addition that I forgot about. When we were near that dog park in that little break right after we got off the bridge, the ground started shaking. I forgot about that. And
Go
then
on.
I was like, Chris, we need to go.
Why
It
was the
like,
ground shaking?
Why? Why was the ground shaking? It couldn't have been like the thousands of people there to have pickle beer and pickles and their grilled cheese and their hot dogs. That couldn't have been why.
Maybe there was a giant pickle Rick.
Oh my god, that'd be amazing if they did that. Imagine a pickle Rick flying above everybody.
There was a section of cement still before it turned to grass, and literally the cement was moving underneath my feet. I'm like, Chris, we need to leave. This is gonna collapse and kill everyone. I don't trust that they're paying attention to the people. I don't trust that they're paying attention to the capacity.
Oh no, that security
Bridges
guard
collapse all the time.
I'm sure people were like the little what's it called, the little fence I was like that made the corner for people to walk on. I'm pretty sure people were jumping over that to get onto the bridge also. I can't assure that because I didn't see that, but it had to have happened.
And then those two girls that we saw in that boat that was docked, and then they both just jumped in the water. They jumped in the river. It was disgusting.
Did they come up with diapers on their heads?
No, they were clearly drunk.
Oh, okay.
They were clearly drunk. They did have life jackets on. I was very impressed with that.
It looked like a nice boating day. It was a very nice boating day. I will say that.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Right. So we get across the bridge on the other side, pay the $10 for parking for doing nothing. And then we just took the car. We drove right to the free parking at the casino. And we went to the Wheelhouse, which is a restaurant.
Why did we want to go to the casino?
Because Andy was going to be there, one of our co-hosts, and he ended up showing up later that night. So we didn't meet up with him.
Boo. Andy, come on, man.
Oh, so we go to the Wheelhouse. I get my buffalo chicken sandwich with a sweet potato, which was delicious there. Comes with a giant pickle on top of the sandwich with a toothpick through it, which I also put on social media.
I was going to say, it looked really good.
Ate that pickle, And Carissa and I were just like, we had such a bad time at Picklesburgh. God, I wish something would happen. And then we look outside, it started pouring rain.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
oh. That's not good, especially when all those people are getting more pissed and more pissed as they go. Ugh.
Oh, I can't imagine you're in that crowd, just standing there, just being like, those clouds look dark.
We should
Someone checking their
probably
weather.
up too late.
Someone checking their weather app, being like, we gotta go. Security guard being like, hey, I got my $18. You guys mob if you want.
What did he mean by I got my $18?
18 an hour.
That was what he was getting paid.
Oh, okay.
What?
That's hilarious. I got my 18 an hour. I don't really care what you do.
Oh yeah, he's like, I got me $18. I don't give.
What an
I don't give
absolute
it to
goon.
you.
And then this is the first time. So when you go to a casino, you expect. First of all, that pickle was delicious. It was
It
fantastic.
looked delicious.
It
It
was
was
like
huge.
It was a full pickle, not like a quarter sliced up. It was like it was a big pickle.
It was a big pickle, very big.
Yeah. Was
I
it,
know
was it,
some
was it
people
hard
have big
to chew?
pickles.
Was it hard to get your mouth around, Chris?
Oh my god. Okay. So to add more to the shit-filled day, I had $20 in my pocket, and I went to the what's it called? Blackjack, but it's like casino blackjack. No, not casino.
No, it was the
Arena blackjack. So shut up.
with the
So-
little computer screens.
Yeah, I got my $20 down to $2. Then I gave that $2 to Carissa, and I let her spend the rest of it on the penny slots. So now I have 26 cents on a ticket.
He won like his first hand and got it up to $27, and then we lost the rest.
You guys had a really rough day that day. Oh my
What?
god. That sounds awful.
But it was for content. That's the moral of the story.
What he'll do for content.
It would shock you.
So that's kind of my little bow on Picklesburgh. I didn't think we'd get as far as 40 minutes, but apparently we did.
Well, you two had a lot of stories to tell in that. Like, it sounds like it was. It sounds like it could have been really cool, and if you go early enough, maybe you can beat the crowds and actually like enjoy yourself. But like, I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity, but there's just no way that you can have fun with that much going on.
There is a lot of potential for that event.
Yeah.
Major thing I would change is it cannot be on a bridge. I know that's a thing in Pittsburgh and they want these events to be on a bridge.
Yeah.
That's not enough space.
No.
If it's going to be this massive of an event, they have to go back to like Point Park or something and do it in like an open field. Like it is not safe and not enjoyable for anyone.
I suggested what was it called again? The David L. Lawrence Convention Center. I understand that it is a event that it should be held outside, but David L. Lawrence Convention Center is freaking huge, and you could hold so many people in there.
It's not a bad idea at all, actually. You can have vendors and stuff like that that don't have to sweat their ass off and worry about the rain.
The amount of money the vendors could have made if people could access them. No one could get to them. You couldn't touch one of the booths with like 100-foot pole without clawing in front of people. You literally couldn't do anything if you tried, if you wanted to.
That little chain space, there was actually 2 vendors who were standing there for like 20 minutes with us.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get to their booth.
What?
Yeah, they literally, they
Are
said
you
to the
kidding me?
security guy, the security guy yelled at them and was like, are you guys vendors? He was like, we've been trying to get to our booth for like 15 minutes.
Dude, could you
We
imagine?
can't cross.
Could you freaking imagine? That is insane.
Picklesburgh, I understand. Great Pittsburgh tradition. If we were to give people advice, and if they keep doing it on a bridge and everything, go at noon till 1:30,
Like the minute they open.
or go at like 9 at night where it's super late. Think like theme park rules, either super early or super late. Like that's the way to do Picklesburgh. The event is it's too big now. It's way too big.
Or just go to the store and buy your own pickles.
Yeah.
And stay home and have a better time.
Well, I wasn't there, but I love pickles, and that sounds like a bad time. That's all I got to say.
Well, that is all I have to say about that. Carissa, any other bows you want to put on?
I don't think so. I also didn't think I'd have that much to talk about, but it all just kind of started coming out like I was reliving this traumatic experience.
Ooh, I have a question.
Yes.
Where's my favorite place to get fried pickles is Permane Brothers. How about you two?
Oh.
Well, I couldn't find fried pickles. That's why I wanted to go to the yard, and supposedly they didn't have the appetizers at the wheelhouse for fried pickles. So luckily it came with a pickle. However, fried pickles, yeah, I'd say Permane's.
The last time I remember getting fried pickles was at that bar in Indiana.
Where?
It was in the shopping area, Clay Terrace. I think it was that Prodigy place.
Prodigy Burgers.
When we sat at the bar and drank, and then you ordered fried pickles. That was the last time I remember getting fried pickles.
Prodigy Burger that left all their crumbs and silverware on the
was
ground.
Super gross bar.
It was
In
not
Carmel?
taken care of. Yeah, in Carmel.
In Carmel, yeah, you wouldn't expect it, but yeah, it was gross.
I expect someone with like a maid outfit coming around just dusting for any
That's a
bar.
fair
That's like the
expectation.
minimum to have a bar in Carmel.
But we have Michael Bublé performing again on Friday.
Oh, they
Oh.
have him on retainer.
Who's the dude that sounds like Michael Bublé? That's like an opera singer, but he does like Christmas albums and stuff.
Justin Tucker.
Not just that. What? Josh Groban. Josh Groban was just in North Carolina.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, a little
Very cool.
fun tip for you. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling now.
No, you're fine.
No, don't worry. We'll wrap it up. Andy's not here to interrupt me when I say get out, so I'm just gonna say it. Let's get out.
One more thing. Hey, Carissa.
Oh, god damn it. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review and a comment. Follow Boys at the Burgh on Instagram and Twitter for the latest updates and newest episodes. And if you want your podcast to look and sound more professional, try using Riverside.fm. We're using it right now. Don't we sound so good? It's used by all the biggest companies in the biz, and you can sound better today by clicking on the link in the show notes.
Oh boy.
We do sound good.
Some of that stuff is riffing. I just riff back and forth. Thank you, Riverside FM. Thank you.
Should have seen the little dance he just did as he was saying that.
Yeah.
I wish you guys could see that. But
And thank you to the Boys in the Burgh Queen Carissa for showing up and taking Andy's space.
Thank you for listening to my rant.
Yes. Thank you, Carissa, wife of me, puppy mother.
Oh my God.
Carissa Speranza.
Next week,
I should
tune
give
in
you
for
my
Eliza.
actual resume. Yeah.
Eliza, what's your favorite kibble?
We should give her a pickle. See what happens.
Yeah. Have you ever done that with your cats? Like throw a cucumber down and see if they jump?
No, but I usually do weird combinations, and Moose, who has no self-control, will walk over and start licking it and go, "Ugh," and make like this really bad face.
That's funny.
All right. Well, JJ, go ahead and sign us off.
I think Carissa should say it.
Go ahead.
I get to say the thing.
You get to say the thing.
I get to say the thing. Okay. I think it goes, well, only pleasure, never business.
I wish
That's
it was
it.
only
Pleasure. Always.
Never. Wait,
Always
what is it?
Always a pleasure, never business.
Always a pleasure, never business. I was so close.
And then I say bye. Bye.
Bye.